So there's a new investing and business trend out there, and it's to start a rental car company with Turo. And there are already people who are making hundreds and thousands of dollars a day with their rental car company using Turo. But it's still a fairly new trend, and a lot of people are learning throughout the way. And as we know, eventually tax time will come. So what I want to do in this video is give you guys my top tax write-offs for a Turo rental car company so that you can leverage the tax system in a way that will maximize your profits and reduce your tax liability. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. You look great, by the way. I'm Sean with Life Accounting, the accounting company that saves people from high taxes and low profits. All right, so for anyone who hasn't heard yet, let me very quickly talk about what a rental car company is and a little bit about Turo. So what is a rental car company? So the concept of a rental car company is very simple. You have a car, you rent it out, someone pays you for every day they're using your car, and maybe a little bit more for the mileage that they put on your car, and then eventually they return the car back to you. Previously, if someone wanted to go out and start a rental car company, they needed hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe even millions of dollars, so that they can go out and buy the inventory for all the cars, get a sizable location, and then hire the staff to manage all the day-to-day operations. And as we know, only big companies could afford that. So companies like Enterprise, Hertz, Avis, etc. But with the evolving technology that's happening in the world, things have changed. Just like the hotel industry has been disrupted by Airbnb, the rental car industry is now being disrupted by Turo. So what is Turo? Basically, Turo is like the Airbnb of cars. So just like with Airbnb, you can list your home completely for free. With Turo, you can list your car for rent completely for free. And then all the communication between the people who want to reserve your car and the owners are done through the app. The big difference that I've seen between Airbnb and Turo is that with Airbnb, you don't have to physically meet anyone, right? Like you can give them remote access to your home and then they just walk in. Whereas with Turo, sometimes you need to physically hand over your car and then figure out a way to get back to your desired location. So right now, for most people, Turo can be a little bit more of a hassle, especially if you're looking to build passive income from renting your car without little help. But it can absolutely be done. Now, before we get into the tax write-offs, we have to talk about how income is reported for a Turo company. So according to Turo, if you made over $20,000 a year and you had over 200 trips, then you will receive what is called a 1099K, which will report how much income you made, usually by the month. And if you made less than $20,000, then you may not receive a 1099K. But guys, even if you don't receive that 1099K, you still need to report your income from your Turo business. So that means you need to maintain bookkeeping, keeping track of all your revenues and your expenses and any other assets that you purchase on your own. And then of course, if you are someone like a sole proprietor or a single member LLC, then you will need to report your revenues on your Schedule C return when you file your personal taxes. All right, so the tax write-offs I'm gonna share with you today are write-offs I will give to someone if they're trying to build an absolutely passive Turo rental car company so their car can earn money while they sleep. But before I dive into the tax write-offs, please do us a huge favor and hit that like button. It will drastically help us to reach more people who want to learn more about the top tax write-offs for a Turo company, and it just makes us really happy. And as a thank you for hitting the like button, here's a cute picture of a Pikachu car.
Pikachu.
All right, so tax write-off number one, insurance. If there's one thing that we all know about renters is that they don't always take care of the property like it's their own. And if you're anything like me, then you're probably a little concerned about someone having your car and absolutely destroying it from the inside out. So that's why car insurance in this case is so important. And because this is a business, you're gonna wanna get the top tier level of insurance that you can get so you have the most protection, especially if you have a top tier level car. Now, I'm not gonna go through all the specifics of what you need to look for insurance, but what you should know is that you can absolutely write off car insurance for your business. In addition to the actual car insurance, you may also need some general business insurance to protect your car from an outrageous claim. Hey Sean, look, there's a bunch of lawyers coming after you.
Freeze!
All right, so kind of like that. Now, insurance is definitely a great write-off for you. Now, moving on to tax write-off number 2 is a pickup location. Now, of course, this is optional, but if you want to make your rental car company totally passive and you want to maximize your chances of actually getting bookings, then having a convenient pickup location may be worth investing into. So this would technically be like a rent expense where you find maybe a nearby lot or a nearby garage, right? And maybe it's near a convenient location like near an airport or another big rental car company. So ideally you work with the garage or the lot owner, you rent out a space and maybe you get like a lot box or something like that so you can drop the keys into and send pickup and drop off instructions to the person who is booking your car. So just an idea, and of course I know there's a lot of other ways that maybe you can handle this, but the key takeaway here is that you can totally write off any lots or garage as a rent expense for your Turo rental car company. All right, tax write-off number 3, hire staff or a manager. So just like you would hire a property manager for like a real estate deal, you could hire what I would call a fleet manager for your rental car company. And of course, this is optional, but if you want your car company to be totally hands-off, totally passive, then you could have someone else doing all the heavy lifting, like dropping off a car to your renters and then picking your car up. This is especially important if you want to build and scale a big operation, meaning that you want to have 10, 20, or 30 cars on the road. You're definitely going to need some staff to help you out with all those moving parts. All right, tax write-off number 4, and you probably saw this coming, but it's vehicle expenses. So you can write off anything in the categories that I'm going to share with you in just a second, and then you'll be able to multiply it by the business use percentage to get your actual tax write-off. So here's what you can write off. Any maintenance expenses. So this would be stuff like oil changes, tire rotations, air filters, etc. You can also write off repairs, so if you need to replace the tires or replace the engine or the transmission, for example. You can write off the cleaning and car washes as long, guys, as it's 100% related to your Turo company. You can even write off your car registration and fees that maybe your state or your city charges you. And of course, the big write-off is the depreciation of your car's value. Now, one other possible deduction worth mentioning is that you can deduct the lease cost if the car you are renting out is leased. Now, if you're doing this, then you should always check the stipulations of your lease before renting out your car and see if it's okay per your lease agreement that you are starting a rental car company with your leased car. Now, if you want to learn more about how vehicle tax write-offs work, then make sure you watch my video on how to write off your dream car right after this one. And I'll also put a link to that video in the description below. Now, before we move on to our 5th tax write-off, I want to hear from you, okay? Are you thinking about starting a Turo rental car company? Tell us in the comments section below. And if enough people comment, then I will consider making a step-by-step video on how you can incorporate and actually get your rental car company set up. All right, moving along, tax write-off number 5, Turo fees. I know, fees are so annoying, but hey, Turo has to make money somehow, and they're providing us with such an incredible opportunity and building demand up for us to be able to rent out our cars. So of course, there are fees that you can incur, and if you happen to encounter them throughout the way, don't worry, because at least these fees are something that you can write off. So some popular fees that you may encounter are host trip cancellation fees that happen if you cancel a trip in less than 24 hours if you are the host. There are also host no-show fees, cleaning violation fees, and vehicle misrepresentation fees, just to name a few. Okay, so there are fees associated with Turo, and you can write them off if you encounter them. All right, tax write-off number 6, marketing and advertising. As I just mentioned with Turo, they do a lot of heavy lifting when it comes to actually marketing and advertising the cars that people can rent out. But if you want to be proactive and ensure your success, then you may want to consider running ads on other car directories so that you get more bookings. Or maybe you just decide that you want to build a website for your Turo rental car company, or maybe you want to do a little social media marketing. The good news here is that all the marketing and advertising expenses that you incur to hopefully build your business up are all deductible and all tax write-offs for your company. Tax write-off number 7, the home office deduction. Hey, at some point you have to manage the operations of your Turo rental car company, and unless you have a big fleet, then I'm guessing that you're doing most of your work from home. Well, by turning one of your rooms or areas in your house and using it for office space, then you're able to claim the home office deduction, which will give you a nice boost when you're ready to take some tax write-offs, especially since you don't actually have to spend any more money for this tax write-off. Now, we have plenty of videos on how the home office deduction works, and we explain everything step by step. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a link to one of those videos in the description below. All right, so there you have it, my 7 top tax write-offs if you want to start a Turo rental car company. Now, of course, there are many more write-offs that you can potentially claim, but these are going to be some of the most obvious ones that you have to take. All right, so if this was helpful, don't forget to comment and share your thoughts, especially if you're thinking about starting a Turo rental car company and you want to see us make a video on how to get it off the ground and actually set it up step by step. All right, and we have 2 more videos coming up next, so make sure you check those out if you haven't already, and we'll see you over there.